Evening, we'll call this meeting to order right at 6 o'clock. There it is. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Brings us to 1-3 approval of tonight's minutes. Seven. Yeah, but it doesn't say 1-5. That does there. Can I get a motion on 1-3 approval of tonight's minutes? Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Gotcha. Are you seeing it? Because I just see the same thing. 1-3, 1-4. See what I mean?
One of them printed.
Uh,
That's what I did have printed.
so we'll skip that. All right, we're going to move into something interesting tonight. We have some recognition and reception of new staff. I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Abby. If you'd like to introduce them.
Thank you. Yeah, so just as a kickoff, our first board meeting since the school year has been in session, we wanted to invite our new employees here so we could, one, be able to, recognize them, welcome them to the district, and simultaneously to be able to put faces with names so that members of the Board of Education, new members of our faculty and staff would have the ability to interact and be able to meet each other here in person. So I'd like to do just a brief introduction for everyone that is here. You can stand if you like, or if you just want to give a wave, just so everybody knows who we're talking about. We'll start with those from MPS. We have Kristen Ford, who is a Waterville alumni who is teaching special education at Memorial Park Elementary School. Welcome. Oksana Gutko, TA, who's been with the district in a different capacity, but now joins us this year in the TA role. Not here from MPS this evening, unfortunately, had to work his other job, is Kobe Lloyd, but he was a building substitute, also a Waterville alumni who is a TA for us this year. We have Andrew Payne, physical education, did his student teaching with us last year and then came on full-time in the retirement of Coach Green. And last but not least from MPS, we have Caitlin St. Peter doing special education for us. Also a Waterville alumni. Notice the theme there. We're very proud to have that. From the junior senior high school, we have Jennifer Kroick, who is joining us in a special education role this year. Previously with us as a TA, but has shifted over as she's working on her special education degree. Jessica Welch was unable to be with us tonight, but she is a TA. We have Celso Vasquez, who is our Spanish teacher. Celso did some observation hours with us last year and has been a great addition so far. And then last but not least, at the junior senior high, we have Erica Von Schiller-Deep, who is definitely not new to education, but we very much are appreciating her expertise in helping us with our counseling department and making sure that we are set up properly and giving us a nice foundation to transition into our future in our counseling department. So welcome, all of you. Steve, I'll turn that back over to you and we can take a little recess.
Yeah, we're going to take up to 15-minute recess for meet and greet of our new faculty and staff members. And then we'll bring the meeting back to order at 6:18 or so. Right.
And there's coffee and water and treats. So please come on up, help yourself as we just kind of have a little time to socialize with each other.
Okay, we're back in. Great meet and greet. Excited to have all the new staff that were here tonight. Spend some time with us and now we'll get back to the fun stuff. Let's move into business operations. We have a consent agenda 3-4 for the general fund warrant in the amount of $62,047.17. The CSE, CPSE recommendations as listed. And the treasurer reports. I don't have those in here. May not have treasurer reports.
Yeah, Are they you were there. logged in or are you on? Are you? Logged in?
I don't know, should be, but. It's not why. Do you have a printed one? I can look at that.
Mhm.
Can I get a motion on business operations while we get that pulled up? Treasurer reports.
So moved.
Thanks, Justin. All those in favor, any discussion? Man, look at me, I'm all out of sorts for that meet and greet. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Turn it over to Mr. Abbey for superintendent report.
Yeah, so first thing, actually Oscar, Jalen can't be here tonight, but Oscar and Jalen are gonna be joining me at OHM BOCES tomorrow morning for an SBI student board member orientation. So all of the component districts are gonna come together with their board representatives. There's a virtual meeting in which members from state ed and people that are involved with higher up boards are gonna be like presenting and sharing the idea of what the purpose behind it is, the rationale, a little bit of training, and then we're gonna kind of do something just in-house with our local BOCES to give the opportunity for students to understand this is the role, this is the rationale, and here's why you're here representing your student body for each of your districts. So hopefully that'll be a nice informative morning. In addition to that, Mr. Brodell and I actually had the pleasure of receiving a donation from American Heart Association yesterday. They provided us with CPR student first aid kits for training tools, essentially. So they come with 10 mannequins and all the instructional materials you need for hands-only CPR. Really nice kit, all comes in one big package, and you can provide education for up to 10 to 20 students at a time. Gives all the instruction needed, which is a requirement in New York State to be teaching students about hands-only CPR. The mannequins, once they're all assembled, they give like good feedback to those that are practicing. You have to make sure that you hear the clicks so that you're getting the appropriate amount of pressure in the proper location. If you don't hear the click, then you know that you're not getting it done correctly. So that'll be a nice kit, a nice addition to the district to be able to have that. And as I said, fully funded by GPO Federal Credit Union. So once again, special thank you to them. They were here yesterday with the American Heart Association to be able to share that with us. So we're really grateful to receive that from them. We had a few things that I wanted to reference as well that we've been working on with the other superintendents in the area. We received some training on New York Inspires. You hear a lot about Portrait of a Graduate, which is an element within New York Inspires. And essentially underneath that, there's 4 areas of transformation, and there's been a lot of timelines kind of thrown out there. And to kind of go back a little bit, Mr. Parity and Mrs. Von Schiller-Deep, when they were presenting to all the different grade levels on the opening days of the school, like they were very clear to let the kids know, because the rumors out there of, oh, Regents exams are going away. That's not really accurate information, and that's kind of part of this. What they're looking to do is to decouple those Regents exams away from the ability to graduate, away from the diploma requirements. But they still, at least what we're being told currently, they'll still be there as an option. But there will be other pathways that students can take as opposed to that. So underneath that New York Inspires, there's really 4 transformations that are under that. One is the adoption of the Portrait of a Graduate, which they just did. So that has been met. Redefining credits and learning experiences, that's all in discussion right now. Sunsetting the diploma assessment requirements, as I mentioned, that is not in effect yet. The tentative timeline right now is for our current 5th graders, but I don't think that's really set in stone either. I think that's just a tentative timeline, but that would be the first class that wouldn't need that requirement. And then to move to that one diploma is the ultimate goal. And they're gonna shift more to the idea of earning that diploma, but there will be different levels of distinctions and seals that you can apply to your diploma. Like seal of biliteracy, seal of civic readiness, and hopefully there'll be additional pathways that could do that as well. Kind of coupled with that, a lot of the other work, and I referenced this in the end of week board message that I'd sent out about the idea of regionalization and what we are committing to as a district as far as to be part of that process. And that's, these kind of things really go hand in hand, because the biggest thing that comes up about all of this is equity. And if they're gonna make this shift, we want to make sure that students that are in one district have the same opportunities as students in another district. If we're talking about these different pathways, depending on, you know, the tax base or what a school is able to offer could really significantly impact what pathways students would have accessible to them. They're trying to make sure that you can have this regionalization idea so that there can be more shared services amongst districts. Now, there's a lot of barriers and there's a lot of things that need to be worked out to ever really be able to operate in that manner. But the discussions are starting now, years in advance, so that each component, each different region is creating their own plan internally, what their needs are, what their struggles are, so that it can be kind of personalized as it goes back and forth to the state level. And we'll keep working on that, and I'll keep you updated as we progress through that work. That's all I had for my report. You can shift over to Cynthia.
Yeah.
Okay, so I passed out the BOCES bill for 24-25 and compared it to our 23-24 expenditures. There are notes in the margins for what we've increased or decreased between the 2 years. I know we have discussed in the past getting this to you prior to the meeting, and I apologize tonight, I did not, or this meeting I did not. I will have your October information to you prior to the meeting. I've been consumed preparing for our audit, which was conducted last week. I'm now waiting to hear from Tricia at Darkangelo as to when we will schedule our audit committee and then when we will present the final audit. I'm currently working on submission to New York State of the district's 24-25 finances through the ST3 and final expenditure reports for our title grants. And we began collection of this year's property taxes on the 1st, and they're going very smoothly to date. So that's always a good thing. And then if anybody has any questions on the BOCES information, again, I apologize. It's been a really, really busy summer, and October will be different. You'll get it ahead of time.
Are you okay, since we'll probably review this separately?
Yes.
People can email, if we just, as a board, if you have questions, can we just make sure we include everybody on a thread for visibility to Cynthia and have Zach on it? And then if any of us have questions, we'll use the same thread.
Mhm.
If anybody starts, if we can do that.
Yes, that would be great. Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. Thank you. Anything from team in the back there?
Yeah, so for the high school, really great start to the school year, really positive start, smooth beginning, so not what hopefully there's a continuation of that moving forward. A lot of work went into this summer, a lot of people here working really hard. Guidance counseling department did a really nice job with master schedules. It's incredibly challenging in a small school district to ensure that students are getting the classes that they want. You know, with a smaller school district, it's challenging. But I think, you know, Mrs. Rachi, Mrs. Von Schiller Deep, you know, did a really nice job trying to ensure that everybody kind of got what they asked for. It's challenging. They did a nice job. A lot of hard work with the teachers, a lot of summer curriculum hours went into curriculum and planning. So thank the teachers for that. Andre and I met with a lot of families, a lot of students this summer, trying to kind of be proactive in terms of our approach to the school year. I think those were really positive as well. So very optimistic, very much looking forward to the school year. I think we're off to a great start. You all were provided with updated percentages for historical Regents exam data. Our teachers will be taking a look at that. Coming up to do an item analysis. They'll discuss that information with the departments for vertical alignment, curriculum development, so we know exactly where the strengths and gaps in our curriculum is. We also share with you high school profile for informational purposes. So that document was updated and streamlined, and that'll be sent with students' transcripts to all the colleges they applied for. Seth Bridge was selected as a tenure to participate in the NYSSMA All-State Program. So they'll be spending the weekend learning and performing with top musicians around the state. It's quite an accomplishment. The guidance office too, as I mentioned, a lot of good work from Mrs. Rachi, Mrs. Von Schiller, very lucky to have them both. They've actually started pushing into classes. And seniors had their first Ready, Set, Apply workshop where they reviewed their transcript and learned how to use Naviance in common application. So they'll be doing different workshops. Excuse me, they'll be doing different workshops throughout the year with the various grade levels. And the idea is to kind of get them thinking about post-secondary experiences and what it is they're looking to do. You know, we want all kids in the high school to start developing their post-secondary plans early so that they're not stuck at graduation. You know, they need to learn their pathway, figure out what their interests are, and being proactive, and then our guidance counselor department's doing the latest job. So a lot of good stuff. Looking forward to a great year. Appreciate the support.
Quickly transitioning to MPS, I am so proud of the team, the students, the energy in the building has been really incredible. An awesome start to the year. This morning, we had Mr. Abbey and Tiger Man visiting throughout our lower elementary building, and the energy again, the smiles are incredible. Just going back a few days to the kickoff, special thanks to Jesse Sibley, who set up our back to school bash prior to open house. We had a lot of great family involvement, games, snow cones, and organizations that joined us to kick off the school year. We had donations of school supplies. So again, the path into MPS has been really positive. Behavioral updates. The goal for one of the vision priorities of MPS this year is going to be focusing on behavior. And I have uncovered some of the work that has been done in the building prior to my start date. But again, just setting expectations for students and staff and collaborating to kind of meet those visions and goals has been our early mission. Just even so much as starting with just working with the early primary students on expectations for behavior in the cafeteria, on the playground, and just kind of setting the tone for the start of the school year. That's been really good. Our first Matter meeting happened on the first day of school. I was able to then also meet with the fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, again, just to empower the students to be leaders and role models for the school community. Lots of positive feedback and the energy. It's been great. So I look forward to continue to work through those visions throughout the rest of the year.
And on that note, if anyone ever wants to feel invisible, like walk around the elementary school with Tiger Man,
Oh, yeah.
the kids don't even know you're there. So
At the smoke screen, right? Like just hide behind Tiger Man.
We're ever seen in the same room at the same time, so.
Oh, yeah.
It's sizzling to me having Tiger.
We have one more line in reports. Oscar, do you have anything from the student representative perspective?
So far, it's been a pretty good start for the year. It's like a lot of students like together, building a sense of community. As a senior, the guidance office, like their workshops open pretty helpful, and I know it's.
That's great feedback.
Thank you.
How are your classes going?
Good.
Yeah,
Busy.
right. I'm sure you're doing well. Okay. Good. All right, we're at board discussion then. I have a couple questions. They're not necessarily for tonight, mostly for Mr. Brodell and Mr. Parity. So I would be curious to understand in future meetings, and obviously like email prior to that. I don't know if October is the right time or maybe November. What we're thinking around supporting the implementation of these AP classes, particularly the new ones. Like, are there different strategies we have to make sure students are successful? I know historically Sometimes we've seen lower participation in these more challenging classes if the word spreads around the school that it's quote really hard or the grades are really hurting me. And I want to make sure we don't hit that roadblock because I think it's great. We're offering these classes and challenging these kids. And I do think the weighted grade point system should help mitigate some of that concern. So I'd be interested in just hearing about that if we have thoughts around it, feedback from the teachers, you know, as we get a month or 2 months into the school year. And I don't know what the right time is. You all know that better than I do, but maybe give some feedback. And I'm also curious, I know we're very lucky to have Mrs. Von Schiller Deep here this year. Most universities have made it clear they're going to mandate SAT scores for next fall. So that should impact students applying now, if I understand that correctly, current seniors. And I think that might come as a surprise to a lot of students because during COVID, I know even for my oldest, who's a sophomore in college, that there was no pressure because you could opt to share your score or not in that transition. So I'd like to understand what we're doing to communicate that to our students and then provide opportunities and support. Again, not necessarily here, but like, do they know what study classes are available? Do they know what strategies are used to help them improve scores? Because that is a real thing. And I know in the classroom, we don't want to get hung up on quote teaching to the test, but there is a reality to those standardized tests that there is a method to take them. There's a way to study and it's proven to work. And I just see in the packet, you know, our average SAT score is okay. But for students that want to go after a more competitive school with required scores, again, that we would want to provide support if possible. I don't want to leave families just kind of quote blown in the wind out there on that and getting surprised. So I'd be curious on those two things. Appreciate the updates from everybody though. Really positive things. Any other board discussion on the updates or anything else?
Want to echo, I was happy to see the 3 new AP classes.
Mhm.
Things are waiting. It makes a lot of sense to take from tougher classes. We did. Question, besides the SAT, what's the other?
The ACT?
Yes.
Yeah. The
I think
PSAT?
PSAT,
There's so many acronyms, right?
I know the SATs are the. Awful thing. I think, yeah, preparing for that, but also I think when I used to hear from colleges where students would come in with very poor time management,
Oh,
study skills, all that, so they can do really, really well in high school and they get the next level and struggle in writing also. I think some that's a big go. It's better to prepare the students to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's a great point to think of, and this could even potentially be a retreat topic for us down the road to understand. That should help us also, I don't think alter, but guide some of the time we're spending in class on, especially for juniors and seniors, to ensure they're really college ready, especially in these upper classes in the AP, English language, English lit classes. Same thing. Are they really having the skills that they'll need when they enter college, or are they going to find that they have to take a big jump up? Not ready. I think that's a fair question.
and we had some of these conversations at our most recent teacher leader meeting.
Great.
Just kind of like kicking off, like what are some things people want to look at this year, want to talk about? Course selections was one, and I'll say that like I think there's mixed reviews about too many EP classes, like in a small school, as Mr. Verdal had mentioned, the idea of in a small school with so many singletons, sometimes you have to balance. So that doesn't mean necessarily that we get rid of APs, but maybe not every AP runs every year.
Right.
So we've got to take those things into consideration with our size and how many kids are enrolled in the classes at any point in time to make sure that we're offering, but maybe we can't offer all of them every year. So we'll look long-term on that. But then there's the idea of college now versus AP. What's better for our overall student population? We want to really kind of track and see all of those things, just in full transparency on that, to make sure that we're giving kids what they really do need And then the idea of, as you just mentioned, like in preparation and the writing ability, of course, and just being able to raise the standard. And that was part of our conversation on opening day as well. Right now, we feel like we have a primary focus of making sure our kids are in school, number one, making sure that the behaviors are not getting in the way of learning. And as we have those things at a place where we feel comfortable, that then allows us to raise the bar academically
Mhm.
and be meeting those additional standards. So our primary focus is on those two elements, still working on the academics. But I think if we have those at a comfortable level, we'll be able to raise those standards to get them where we want them to be.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I'll put Oscar on the spot. Are you in AP Physics? I thought so. So, and how many kids are in the class? 8? 9?
More than 10, like 14.
Okay. That's
I think that was on the largest.
I mean, I heard it from my son, but he doesn't usually count well, even though he does well in math. No offense, sorry. But yeah, and that's one that's not gonna be every year, right? I think that's gonna be every other year. I know we're already looking at that as a school, because he's taken 2 AP Science classes this year, because one of them won't be offered next
Mhm.
year. I don't remember if it's bio or
Is it
physics,
AP
but
bio, AP physics?
he's taken both, yeah, yeah.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Oh, well, I know one of them rotates. There is one that rotates every year.
Yeah, he's taking chem next year.
Yeah, physics.
Yeah.
Right.
So and that circles back to, I think, like, and we're working through that because we wanted him to take those classes and he's having so much fun. Back with the guidance department and educating parents, like some of these pathways really do need to be mapped out multiple years in advance as we add courses in, because to your point, like we won't offer everything every year. It's not going to work with the numbers, and they're going to have to make choices in some cases. For him, it was choosing not to take more Spanish because he's planning to major in sciences in college, and that was a combo at home. So I just want to make sure all students get that kind of support in their decision making, and they have access to these classes. So I think we have a lot of kids that can really do it. They just need to know they can and why they should do it. So, are you enjoying that class? Good, awesome. Perfect. Any other discussion? Okay, if not, we'll move into first public comment, and true to form, this year I'll just read the reminder on our forum for public comment, even though we have the usual suspects in the crowd. The Board of Education welcomes public comments and community input at our meetings. However, we caution speakers that we are not authorized to engage in conversations pertaining to individual students, faculty, staff, or administrators. Topics of this nature may only be discussed during the executive session and must be coordinated with the superintendent prior to a board meeting. We also ask that public comments are no more than 5 minutes, and please state your name and address. Do we have any public comment tonight?
I just put on my hat as foundation president. I'll have a report the next week. That's all right.
Sure.
Give you an update on our golf tournament. 29 at 5 o'clock in here. If anyone is that time available, would like to come and meet our board. Just help us, it's our beginning of the year. So we'll take a look at our goals, and we'll be sending an invitation to you guys as well to come and meet the board, and we can work with good partners this year.
Thanks, Patty. Perfect. And I see no public comment in email, so we are good to keep rolling then. Perfect. Next on the agenda, we have a consent agenda on personnel, but I believe we're going to have a request to go into executive session to discuss the employment of an individual prior to voting on the personnel consent agenda. So can I get a motion to move into executive session at 6:49 PM? We'll go with Dan and Justin on that. Sorry. All those in favor of going into executive session at 6:49 to discuss a personnel matter? Opposed? Motion's carried, so we will